What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting from the D. Early morning out here, getting some of these 10,000 steps in. We got to talk about Diddy. He's in the algorithm. He's been sentenced finally. He got a little over 4 years. I think 4 years and 1 month. You know, he had, 5 counts? He had a RICO charge. He had 2 trafficking charges. Those all he were found not guilty on, but the 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, he was found guilty for those. He's been in there, and now he's been sentenced to 4 years and 1 month. And I don't even think they count in time served. We've been hearing reports of him falling to his knees and crying in the chair and whatnot, and I can easily see that. He was probably thinking he was out. I beat a RICO charge, which that in itself is crazy, man. We done had 2 rappers beat RICO charges, in the last 12 months, 16 months, somewhere in that range. They both happen to have the same lawyer, so kudos to him, man. I'm sure business for him is crazy right now because this dude is proving that he can get you to the other side of a RICO case. But nonetheless, he's found guilty, and I'm gonna be for real with y'all, man. I think this guilty verdict and the sentence are both they bullshit, man. I'm not even gonna mince words. I think transportation for prostitution is such a vague BS charge. Like, it's way too vague. So let's just think about this. And I don't say this as a Diddy fan. Let me go ahead and throw this buffer out there. I'm not a Diddy fan. I never have been. I don't dislike Diddy. Chopper up here. Anyway, I don't dislike Diddy, but I'm not a fan. It's always kind of been something about him that I'm just like, I don't know about this dude. It might be because of Biggie. The way he moved around the time Diddy passed away was just really sus. So that might be part of the reason why I've just never really been a fan of him. Don't dislike him because I'm like, I don't really know him like that, but y'all get what I'm saying. Some people you just like, not really my kind of peoples, man. The way you move, this guy who you claimed in public was your boy, your best friend and all that, you just really wasn't moving like that, man. So nonetheless, let's dissect this a little bit. So Diddy would be in one place, and then he would have women come to him for the express purpose of getting down, his freak offs and whatever else. If that's illegal, I mean, think about this. If that's illegal, there's a lot of people who could easily be brought up on a transportation for prostitution charge. You get what I'm saying? That's very dangerous. So if you fly some chick out, you a dude out there, because we're in the era of that. We're in the era of sliding into some chick's DMs or whatever and seeing what's up. And if she down or whatever, you go ahead and you send her that ticket information. You know, we're in the era of that. So essentially, you could slide into some chick DMs, fly her out. Y'all do y'all thing. You go ahead and you take care of her room and board. You take her shopping and all that. You're not paying her really, but you're providing incentive for her flying out to see you. And you know what it is, and she know what it is. She understands the assignment. That's why she there. Later on, if you and this chick fall out in any way, shape, or form, she can then possibly report you on some, oh, he did this, he did that, he had me come out, I prostituted for him. And let's just be for real here. If you a dude that's high profile enough, women don't mind embarrassing themselves in order to potentially get a bag. All right. If they're trying to get some sort of financial compensation, they will get on a podcast, they will get on the news, they will give interviews on The View and on Gayle King or whatever, talking about all the stuff that they did for you. It's all of the not so nice stuff that you had them doing that they were a willing participant in. They're retelling the stuff as if they're a victim and they weren't willing to do this stuff. Like, you a 304, that's why you went out there. But you're trying to retell a 304's tale as a victim's tale, as if you didn't know what time it was when you packed your bag and hopped on that flight to go out there. So again, I think this is some BS, man. I think they really were not expecting for Diddy to beat this case the way that he did. And the 4 years is just basically, we just trying to get him on anything. That's really what this seems like. Again, I'm not a fan of Diddy, but I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh yeah, he deserved this and whatnot. No, man, this is some BS. Because think about this. How many rappers, actors, pro athletes, I mean, and they don't even got to be entertainers in any way, shape, or form. They could just be regular dudes that just have money. They're rich, but not famous. Or maybe not even rich. They just might have enough excess income to where they could go ahead and trick, if you will. Now, all of them must fear that one day they'll be facing down trafficking for prostitution, not trafficking for prostitution, I'm sorry, transportation for prostitution. Man, that sounds like a made up charge if ever there was one. I said from the beginning that I thought the trafficking and the transportation were BS, doing both for both women. So you had two alleged victims, which we know Cassie was no victim. All that came out in court. Everybody assumed Cassie was because she was pretty and innocent looking and all that. And then there was the video of Diddy beating the hell out of her. So everyone assumed, oh, she's some victim, but the halo effect that women typically benefit from. And then we hear her testify in court and we like, man, she just as much of a monster as Diddy is. That's why she was with him for 10 years. She just as much of a monster as he is. You had audio of her threatening a dude to turn over some recording that he had of her in a freak off, and that basically she was gonna have something done to him if he didn't stop playing with her. Like, she very much enjoyed her position in Diddy's life until she was ready to leave. And then when she left, we found out she was still doing Diddy after she got with the guy that's currently her husband. Dude FaceTimed her while Diddy was smashing her. So yeah, we know that Cassie is no victim. The other person who's a Jane Doe, woman number 2, we know who that is. That's 50 Cent baby mama. She wasn't trying to go in there and testify because she currently is still on Diddy's payroll and she was not trying to be off his payroll. So she went missing. You can't testify. You can't make me testify if y'all can't find me. She went missing. And they can't charge her with anything. They could, but they won't. Because jurors are just people. And if you have women on the jury, what woman is going to for real vote guilty against her for being on a high profile man's payroll and not wanting to mess that up? What woman is going? You get what I'm saying? Like, So she was able to go hide, not testify, and she won't face any sort of punishment behind it. I'm not saying that she deserves any punishment, but if they really wanted to waste resources, they could. So you have two women, neither are victims, both are willing participants, and we learned a lot more about Cassie than we ever wanted to. And for those two women, he faced trafficking charges and transportation for prostitution charges. It just seemed redundant. They just knew they was gonna get him on the trafficking ones though, and they weren't able to prove that. The whole case was stupid. All they proved in this case, because I watched the trial very intently, all they proved in this case was that Diddy is a freak, which we already knew. All that other stuff, nope. Freak offs weren't even what we thought that they were. We thought that freak offs were these gigantic, eyes wide shut style, orgies. And come to find out, those were just Diddy, Cassie, and a worker, which was usually a guy, because one of the guys gave his recount about how Diddy would sit up and watch him, and he was so much more well endowed than Diddy, and how he could tell she wasn't enjoying Diddy as much after he would bang her out and all that, I mean, I don't blame him for doing them interviews. His name being thrown around, so he like, look, I'm gonna take advantage of this and get myself a piece of this bag too, since there's such high interest in what's going on here. But yeah, man, that's pretty much how I feel about it. I think the transportation for prostitution is a BS charge. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's vague as hell, and ultimately they're just using this as a way to get Diddy after all, because they can't get him any other way. The RICO charge failed. The trafficking charge failed, or charges failed. So these BS after the fact transportation for prostitution charges, that, I mean, what man wouldn't be found guilty of this? I mean, think about this. What man wouldn't be found guilty of at some point flying a chick out? We talking about long distance relationships even. All right, long distance relationships are super popular. They always have been. Y'all communicate this and that, you in one state, they in the other, and then at some point you go ahead and you fly them out so y'all can finally see them. You know that when they get here, y'all gonna hook up or whatever. So if you carrying on a long distance relationship, are you potentially in danger of one day facing transportation for prostitution? Where do you draw the line with this silly shit? So I'm gonna leave it there, y'all. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. Hit me in the comments. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.